Hello and welcome to the MAC weather page for this Saturday, September 26th. You can see mild temperatures in the mid 50s to low 60s, and we've got a pretty nice day out there. We got some fog out there this morning. Some of it's patchy but dense, so do take care when you're out on the road this morning. It should burn off, and we should see plenty of sunshine and temperatures warming well into the 70s today. A little more in the way of clouds on Sunday, maybe a few showers as we start to see a cold front slowly move towards the Great Lakes. Again, it'll hang off to our west until we get into Tuesday, but with moisture coming up from the southeast states into the area, that's going to create just enough lift, I think, where we could squeeze out a few showers here for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. And if we take a look at some of the temperatures across much of the United States, there's just no, well, let's refresh there. There we go. There is just no cold air to be found anywhere in the lower 48. And so our warm pattern will continue right on through at least early next week before a cold front comes through. That'll only take us to normal levels, as again we have a pretty mild week overall setting up. If we look at the satellite view, the tremendous amount of rain, thunderstorms, severe storms across the Carolinas up in the Virginias here over the last couple of days, that system weakens, but its remnants continue to move to the northwest in towards the Great Lakes, and you can see where the cold front kind of is off to our northwest. That very slowly will move this way here over the next few days. And again, as that moisture comes into that cold front, it's a weak one, but it'll be enough again to generate some showers. Maybe a thunder shower, but I think for the most part, it'll be a shower pattern. You can see lots of moisture pooling in the Gulf of Mexico, and that's the next big area of trouble. So we expect a low to develop here off to the south of the Texas Corpus Christi area off into the Gulf. That's going to slowly move towards Louisiana as it does. Very heavy rain out in front of that is going to affect much of the Gulf areas. And again, lots of heavy rain here over the next day or two across the mid-Atlantic states as well. If you take a look at the forecast map, you can see the low pressure system is going to be moving to the north, bringing lots of rain across the eastern seaboard. And again, with the remnants of that last low moving towards the Great Lakes, this cold front here, if we put it into motion 2 days from now, you can see it'll be making its way towards the Great Lakes. And again, that'll help to squeeze out a few showers as it gets closer and closer to the Great Lakes, and then moderately cool behind the system. If you take a look at the forecast map, this is for next Sunday. You can see a big area of high pressure dropping down out of Canada with northwest winds are clockwise around it. And look at this big storm here up into the northern portions of Canada, up near Hudson Bay at 977. It'll move from the southwest to the northeast. And by the next shot, it actually drops to 970, or about 28.75 inches of mercury. So a very powerful fall storm. And again, with its counterclockwise winds, we're going to have a lot of wind flow out of the north, out of Canada, bringing in some much cooler air as we get towards late next weekend into the following week. If this system is a little farther south, it may draw more moisture up, and we could have a pretty good rain event out ahead of that cold front. But we'll have to wait and give it a few more days to see what the models say. But nonetheless, cooler air begins late next weekend, and I think we're going to probably see much of the rest of October cooler than normal. And that's what we've got forecast for October, is cooler than normal. We thought we might get to the 10th before we see any real significant cooling. Not sure that's going to be the case, but we do see some much colder air possibly coming in around the 10th as well. So certainly some big changes coming up in our weather here. So enjoy the next week or so of mild temperatures. You can see growing degree days. The black is from Michigan State, and it starts as of March 1st, and the red is the MAC stations, and which starts at April 1st. But you can see we're in pretty good shape as far as growing degree days as well. If you take a look at the 6 to 10 and the 8 to 14 day outlook, is very similar. One thing we're seeing is a shrinking area and moving to the west as far as the anomalies above normal. And one thing to look at, we've seen a lot of colder than normal temperatures in Alaska, and they've had quite a bit of snow to begin the fall period. Even in Fairbanks, they had quite a bit of snow the other day. Now, when we start to see warm air up in Canada, that's generally a sign of a high pressure just off to the south, and that usually has a tendency to dislodge the cold air from Canada down into the lower 48. So I think in the coming days, you're going to see these 6 to 10 and 8 to 14 days start to show quite a bit of blue here over the next few days, and so we'll keep an eye on that and see if that forecast does change like I think it will. One thing we're looking at is the anomalies from the sea surface temperatures. You notice, again, much of the Pacific and now quite a bit of the Atlantic from the Cape Verdes, which was colder and colder than normal water temperatures, now becoming warm. And again, areas across the mid-Atlantic states, we got to really watch any tropical system. If it were to get close, it could really be quite powerful. Whether it's a named storm or not, it could cause a lot of problems for Chris Christie and the folks in New Jersey and up and down that whole area. Something to keep an eye on. And we expect the Gulf of Mexico to become pretty active along with the southeast states. We have to watch the areas just offshore there for tropical development here over the next couple of weeks, as it looks pretty favorable. And the one thing we also continue to watch for the winter pattern is warmer than normal waters off the Gulf of Alaska all the way down to California. That generally promotes ridging, which then will allow troughing to come into the central and eastern U.S. And that's something we're going to also follow. You can see all the cold water in the North Atlantic. That's also a key as well. And if we look at those sea surface temperatures, you can see they're very warm. And again, though, the warmest waters seem to be centered over well off into the central Pacific. And again, that could have implications to our winter, as we see a lot of vertical motion upward in that area. Seems to be the most dominant area. And again, so we're certainly going to watch for an interesting winter. Right now, I think we're going to have a very strong southern jet. And again, if we see enough ridging out west, it brings in troughs. We can see a lot of pretty strong Alberta Clipper systems drop into the Great Lakes, team up with that powerful jet, and we could have some pretty major East Coast storms here this winter. So it's going to be an interesting winter, I think, from the eastern Great Lakes all the way to the East Coast. Thanks for stopping by, and have a great Saturday and a great weekend, and 73s to all.